Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm still waiting for the Star Spangled Banner.
Roll call. We're all present for once.
Don't look
What's your
at
point?
me. You must be looking at Bob, right?
You and approve the agenda for December 10th, 2024. Is there any additions or deletions?
I move approval.
Second.
We got a motion to approve in a second. All in favor, sing with saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed with all present. You and approve minutes from Tuesday, October 8th, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from October 8th. All in favor, sing with saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed, all present. Zoning ordinance amendments, number 5. Public hearing open first or the background?
You can give the public hearing open first.
The Way Park Planning Commission will hold a public hearing at City Hall, 19 13th Avenue North, 6:30 or soon thereafter, on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, to go through the request from the city staff on rezoning, excuse me, staff regarding zoning updates to accommodate the state of Minnesota legislation of cannabis and related businesses. Public hearings open at 6:32.
Planning Commission members, folks in the audience or at home, this is fairly straightforward. What this is being driven by is the fairly recent state Minnesota legalization of cannabis and related businesses. When we looked into our zoning ordinance and following the state requirements to accommodate for cannabis-related businesses, it leaves the window open for cities to review their ordinances and kind of make their own determinations how they want to treat them with regards to zoning ordinances. There's a separate component for registration and licensure of retail businesses, dispensaries that are outside the purview of the zoning ordinance. That's a kind of a separate ordinance that will be considered by the city council. But when we looked into our existing ordinances and some of the guidance from the state and our city attorneys, we felt it best to recommend updating our zoning ordinance to call out specifically the different classifications of the cannabis-related businesses, of which there are about a dozen or so. There's the retail sale, the dispensary component is only a small fraction of the overall different kinds of cannabis-related businesses that will be licensed by the Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management, or OCM. They're currently on schedule to get going with legal sales on January 1st, 2025. But we felt it best to look at updating our ordinance to, number one, give definition to the different businesses that follow the Office of Cannabis Management definitions, and then number two, determine which of those businesses should be located in which business districts, just so there's no ambiguity. We're not expecting necessarily a big flood of cannabis related businesses. We haven't received a huge rush of inquiries or anything. We've had a couple, but we just want to kind of button up the ordinance a little bit, just to tighten it, to make sure that if and when we do get cannabis related businesses, that it's very clear where they can and can't be within the zoning ordinance. So we went kind of line by line with our city attorneys and looked at the different classifications and then determined where they would make the most sense given our existing zoning ordinances and recommended the amendments that are enclosed to direct those different businesses into the different areas. From what I'm aware, and this is a little bit out of my specific area, but the cities, we have to allow for a retail component based on our population. Basically, every city is going to have at least one allowable retail component, but cities don't necessarily have the ability to say that the other different cannabis-related uses aren't allowed where there's no, for those businesses where there's no retail sales. Those could be either the testing facilities or labs or transport type facilities. There's, again, about a dozen or so different categories that are kind of ancillary to supporting the growing and sale components. So we felt it best to just give some guidance within the ordinance to direct those into the specific areas, just so it's very easy to answer questions and that a person could go through and just be very cut and dry for someone that's looking to do that sort of business. Again, these have been prepared in conjunction with our city attorney and reviewed by the city council as well through a couple work sessions. They have the support of the city attorney's office and generally the support of the city council as well. But because they are zoning ordinance updates, they do have to be reviewed and go through the public hearing process through planning commission as well. But I would recommend adoption of the proposed updates and that the planning commission make a recommendation of approval to the city council. If received positively, we expect that this will go to the city council for their meeting next week. We have posted the proposed updates online ahead of that meeting to meet the notice requirements in hopes of receiving a positive recommendation tonight. That would conclude my report.
Thank you, John. This is a public hearing if anybody wants to speak for or against. Commissioners have any question on the?
They made no stipulation about how close it can be to a school?
The city or the city council's direction was to not include buffer requirements. The concern was that if a cannabis-related business would come in and then essentially be there first, that it could then preclude another use that may want to locate nearby after the fact. Some cities have adopted the buffer requirements. It was the decision of the city council. They did not want to pursue that.
John, when we're talking about the retail, when you have a cannabis retailer, is it only cannabis, or can they sell other products at the same, tobacco products, candy, Cokes, all that kind of stuff?
It's my understanding that a cannabis business is solely cannabis. That it's not, you would not see an existing convenience store getting into the cannabis business. It's basically cannabis only. That's from my understanding.
So what happens if you have a retailer, for other retail products, and then a cannabis retailer right next door? Can they have a doorway between, or you have to have a separate entry totally? And
that I'm not positive. I think that would come down from the Office of Cannabis Management. I'm speaking a little bit in conjecture here, but my assumption is it would have to be treated kind of like a liquor store is. If you have there's Fresh Time in town where they have a liquor store, but it's basically off to the side and separate entrance and totally separated, because Minnesota obviously doesn't allow for liquor sales in grocery stores with the exception of the 3-2 But something along that nature where it would have to be a separate business that's its own little area.
Okay. All right, thank you. If there aren't any other questions, I'd like to move to close the public hearing.
I got a motion to close public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to close public hearing. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Close with all present at 6:40.
I'd make a motion to approve make a recommendation to the city to approve the regulations tonight. To move them forward.
Any conditions or anything?
I can't hear you.
Any conditions or anything?
No.
Got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Pass with all present.
Again, we do expect that this is currently on track to go to the city council for their meeting and review consideration next Monday, the 16th, I believe. Yes, 16th. And if all goes well, we should have everything adopted ahead of the January 1st, 2025 official legalization for retail sales date. But I would not be surprised for planning commission members if we have to come back at some point in the next year or two, just as things continue to evolve at the state level. There may be some further changes or stuff handed down that we might need to accommodate for. So just a heads up on that.
I gathered, listening to the news reports, the state's actually gonna postpone the licensure yet for some time. They've got some things that they're real unclear about yet.
Yeah, that could be. That doesn't change anything for us at this point. Our only concern was that there could, if this didn't get approved for some reason, there could be a gap until between January 1st and when it would be adopted by the city council. That doesn't mean it's a crisis necessarily. It just means that you have to figure out a way to deal with any application that comes in during that gap, and how do you treat it. But we'll sit tight and wait.
Don, you got any other updates or?
Just one brief, not so much an update, but a thank you and well wishes to Vic for his service on the planning commission and going back to the city council. So
I
congratulations.
sure am. Thank you very
Congratulations
much.
on that. It's been a pleasure having you on the planning commission and looking forward to working with you on the city council again.
Well, even though I was here tonight, thank you. That's a good thing. No, I appreciate that. I've always enjoyed the planning commission, and I wish you luck in getting a replacement.
Well, I did drop a name to Lori, so I don't know if that
Okay.
person's going to apply or not.
Well, the applications are open, so if anyone's interested, you're welcome to check out the city website or get in touch, and we'll get you information. And always looking for folks, even if we don't have an opening. It's always nice to have a roster of folks we can reach out to. Aside from that, I just wanted to wish everybody safe and great holidays, and stay safe and stay warm and stay well. Thanks for a great year.
Thank you. You as well.
To you as well.
I'll see you on the 16th. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying yay.
Yay. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed, all present.
Thank you, everybody.
Next week if I get approved for another 3 years.